Okay, so in this video, I am going to be talking about 5 things that you really need to know before you become a host on Airbnb. And I will be working through each one of these 5 things, everything from how to list your property in an appealing way to the maintenance and the cleaning setup, all of that stuff I'm going to be talking through in these 5 points. So here we go. Before we get started, my name is Jessica. I have been hosting Airbnb properties for about 10 years now. I am a super host with Airbnb, and through the Airbnb properties, there's been just a really successful, steady income. I would like to add at this point that our properties are not luxury properties, and we don't live in a part of the world where we get a lot of people who are on their holidays and who are vacationing in our area. But we do get a lot of people who are traveling for work or are visiting family. And so regardless of where you are, there's going to be a market for a really nice property in your area, and you can do that and make a good amount of money without necessarily breaking the bank and filling the place with luxury furnishings and all of that. So I'll go through all of that stuff here in just a few minutes with these 5 things that you need to know. But just want to say at the beginning here, if you want to join Airbnb, you can use my affiliate link, and you and I both get a bonus. So you'll get £20 on your first listing, and I also get a thank you from Airbnb for helping you to find them. So it works for us both. Right. Let me dive right in here with thing number one. So the first thing that you want to think about when you're listing your property on Airbnb is you want to look at making sure that the photos really capture the space. You want to make sure that the really good quality photos, and it's amazing how often I look at Airbnb properties and think that actually looks like a nice property, but that picture does not represent it well. So you want to take the picture with the light behind you, right? So this is where I am is not a good example. This is exactly the wrong way around. But you want to have a look at the space where the sun is coming in, natural light as much as possible through the windows. All the lights in the property on. When you're taking your pictures, you want it to be as bright as possible. So you want to have a good angle on your photos, and you want to make sure that the windows are open and as much light as possible. That's the first thing. And I'm going to share my screen with you so I can do a photo tour of one of our properties, just so you can see what I'm talking about. Because again, these photos are not of a 5-star property. But it's a nice property, and there's nice furnishings, and not super expensive, but it makes us a good amount of money, and people love staying there. So it's the best of both. So here we have, this is the larger bedroom. You can see that there's some wall art on the walls. These are photographs, in some cases, that have been printed with nice pop of color. And the big piece of wall art that you see there was actually secondhand that we bought. So you can do all this stuff with a bargain in mind. So colorful cushions on the bed. There's white bedding. There's a black throw that's over it that matches the divan bed frame. And there's extra pillows. So there's 4 pillows on the bed plus cushions, which you can see there in the photo. So you can see that it's nice and bright. It looks really like, soft, but also classy. There's a picture of the outside space. And again, make sure that when you're taking pictures of your outside space, you put some flowers around. You put some flower pots there, which is what we've got. Here's another bedroom. Light coming in through the window, nice and bright. Soft furnishings. We've got the cushions and the extra pillows on there. Some wall art at the back. It just makes the room look really comfortable, and it's not super expensive to do that. Okay, the room from another angle. Again, nice and bright. It's the outside space. Here's the living room area. There's one feature wall, and there's colorful mirror. Again, some more prints that are on the wall. It just makes the space look much more comfortable, much more comfortable. This is the master bedroom again. So the first thing is photographs. You want to make sure that you got some nice pictures of your space that presented in a good light. And by that, literally, I mean with lots of light. So you don't want dark pictures on your listing. You want to make it nice and bright. You want to have the cushions set up. You want to have the art on the walls, all of those finishing touches done. Here's a picture in the kitchen. All right, you get the idea. So, point being, you want to make sure that you've got some good photos in your listing. Second thing is you want to make sure that you price your listing appropriately. So the way I like to do this is to go on Airbnb myself as if I'm looking to book, right? And then I do a search for something comparable in the area. So if yours is a 2 bedroom, then you want to do a search on Airbnb for something in your city that's 2 bedroom and have a look yourself. See what else is out there. See how other people are decorating their listing. It'll help to give you some ideas. But you want to price it appropriately. In our case, as I've mentioned, ours is not a luxury space, but we do get people who are really, really happy there. We have a lot. Most of our reviews are 5-star. People are very comfortable. The furnishings are comfortable. The space is really open and comfortable. So people love it, but it's just not a luxury spot. The second thing about that pricing appropriately, there is something on Airbnb that has something called smart pricing, which is good. And that sets the pricing depending on what the demand is in the area. So if you've got festivals or things that are going on in your area you might not be aware of, as bookings start to fill up around you, the price of your property potentially will go up. So that's something that's good to use. I like to take advantage of that. The third thing, sorry, that I wanted to mention is you want to make sure that you're getting the most out of each room. Now, I know that people are tempted to put, 2 or 3 single beds in a room, and I would just advise against that because generally people would prefer to sleep in a larger bed. And just think about how you would like if you were staying there. So most people would prefer staying in a larger bed. If possible, make sure to do that. And no adult really wants to sleep in a bunk bed. So you don't really want to have bunk beds in your rooms if you can if you can avoid it. Okay, you'll get more from the property if each room an adult would comfortably stay there. The fourth thing is you want to try and figure out the cleaning and maintenance for your property. So if you've got um, regular book regular bookings that are happening, it might be that you want to be responsible for the cleaning and the laundry of the property yourself. But realistically, that's going to take quite a lot of time, and it's going to mean that you're going to need to be available for that as guests check in and out. So depending on how many properties that you're trying to manage, that can become a lot. I have found that it's quite effective to find local people who are interested in having a part-time job. So women who have who maybe they don't have a job, but they've got children that they pick up and drop off at school. They're looking for a job that they could work between the hours of like 10 a.m. and 3 p.m., which is perfect because the last guests leave at 10 a.m. In the morning, and then new guests would come at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So that sort of 5-hour window is exactly when you need your place to be cleaned. So you can often find women who are stay-at-home moms or whatever, that they're looking for a little bit of income, and so they're quite happy to get 10 or 12 hours worth of cleaning a week from you to clean the property. So that has been a really effective thing for us. And sometimes they'll do the laundry, or in our case, we actually have a laundry service. So we have someone who picks up the laundry from the housekeeper and drops it off to her. So you just have to look around in your area to see what's available. I know some parts of the UK and some places actually have laundry services where you can rent bedding, and that's a good option too if it's available. It's not available in our area, but it is a good option. So you want to figure out your cleaning and your maintenance, and you want to do that really before you list your property, because otherwise you're in a situation where you personally are going to have to go and do the cleaning, and you might not necessarily have the time to do that. The fifth thing is you want to put the finishing touches on your property. So there's things like the art on the walls, the cushions on the bed. You want to have some sort of a welcome pack or book that has your Wi-Fi code, right? You're going to have Wi-Fi in the property. You're going to have a television in the property. It doesn't necessarily have to be in every bedroom, but because we don't have that in our space. But you do need to have a TV, and you do need to have Wi-Fi. And it's helpful if you can, have a little folder or something where people can see what's nearby, what grocery stores are nearby, what restaurants are nearby, if there's any points of interest, places to go walking or places where maybe they can take their kids, that kind of thing. You want to put that in a little book so that people really feel welcomed. And then, if possible, it's a great idea to meet your guest when they're arriving. I know not everybody does that. People like to have a key safe. But I have found over the years that it's one of the most effective ways to make sure that the people are happy with the space, that they feel comfortable where they're staying, that they can ask you a question if they have one, or they can tell you if they've got a problem. Is if they've met you already, they don't feel like they're complaining. They feel like they're really able to do that. So those are the 5 things. Again, I'll just quickly run through them here. So you want to make your listing with really good photos, and you want to spend a little bit of time staging each room in its best possible light, with lots of light on, color, art on the walls, all that stuff. Second thing is you want to set your price appropriately, and I would recommend actually looking at what's in your area. What does it cost for something comparable? Okay. Third thing, you want to set your room up so that you can get the most out of it. We have one bedroom in one of our properties where it's not a huge bedroom, and the temptation would be to put a small single bed in there, but we put a double bed in there against the wall, and it's better. People prefer to sleep in a double bed if possible, so that's how you get the most out of each room. You want to figure out the cleaning in advance. You want to get that all sorted. Try and find somebody, if you can, that will be able to lift the burden for you and is available in those daytimes when you need cleaning. And then the 5th thing is get all your finishing touches. So that's your Wi-Fi, your TV, your welcome pack, all that stuff, and meet your guests if at all possible. Okay, so if you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I've got other videos on this same topic that is coming. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to add them. If you have any suggestions about the type of video you'd like to see. And again, if you're thinking of joining Airbnb, if you use the link that's on the screen here, you get £20, which is UK pounds, towards your first booking extra from Airbnb. And they also give me a bonus just for helping you to find them. Okay, thanks a lot.